FSD Africa is special. We are a regional program operating in more than 30 countries, making finance work for Africa's future. Set up by the UK government, FSD Africa has helped drive economic growth over the past 10 years. From policy and regulatory reform to capacity strengthening and improving financial infrastructure.
We established FSD Africa in Nairobi in 2012, recognizing that Africa's shallow financial markets were a key blocker to growth and prosperity.
Mark Napier founded FSD Africa and had Warushi Totia as his first colleague.
So when FSD Africa was set up, it was very much with a view to building skills in, I guess, smaller banks, microfinance institutions. And one of the problems has always been a lack of ability to develop products, a lack of capacity around regulation and that sort of things.
So it was exciting. People were excited about the ideas that FSD Africa was going to do, and they were happy to be joining us. So the morale was high. It was good energy.
FSD Africa is a very unique organization. So we were set up to deepen, build, and strengthen the financial markets through, activating the right kind of policies and through activating the right kind of, novel ideas which sort of catalyze funding into some of these initiatives.
I think we are unique because we play a very catalytic role. We don't simply make investments for a quick buck. We make investments for long-term sustainability. We make investments to drive new vehicles, new mechanisms of driving capital.
Above it all, the one thing that we all have in common is we love Africa. We want to see big things for Africa. Our tagline is making finance work for Africa's future. And we all share that passion, that ambition. Yeah?
We have addressed systemic challenges in Africa's financial markets with the aim of sparking large-scale and long-term change. Through our investment arm, FSD Africa Investments, we have provided below-market rate funds to make financial markets more competitive and efficient.
We created FSD Africa Investments in 2016, and we pioneered this instrument, and its purpose was really to take on a lot of the early stage risk and new concepts that we think could drive transformation of the financial market. Our core purpose is to invest to change the way investment, the way capital, where finance flows to where it's needed in the economy. We are doing that with a very high appetite for risk.
We have boosted the income of vulnerable groups and contributed to poverty reduction across the continent. Policy and regulatory reform has come about because of our efforts. Our work in building capacity and addressing systemic market challenges has achieved both short-term and long-term change. By tackling financial exclusion, we have helped 10.2 million people get access to financial services.
I'm very proud of what we've done in Kenya, Ghana, and Nigeria in terms of building a community that are going to look at the future of insurance solutions by making sure that we are going to reach those particular persons that are currently underserved or completely not served within the insurance space, and building a very resilient ecosystem.
Our capital markets pillar supports policy regulation and market infrastructure, including exchanges and credit enhancement facilities, by demonstrating capital market transactions.
Capital markets are very, very important for Africa for a number of reasons. One is that they help in financing Africa's economic and social transformation. We are not funding long-term projects using very short-term money, like buying essentially your house with a credit card. And then finally, we also have a number of institutional investors in Africa that are growing. We estimate we have about $1 trillion of assets under management across Africa, and it's growing. They need a home to invest in new asset classes and all that.
One of the defining transactions or partnerships that we had was with the CMA in Kenya, the Capital Market Authority in Kenya. And we had a major program with them around building HR skills, talent management. How can we sort of help change the culture of CMA in order to make it more responsive to the market, make it more respected by market practitioners.
FSD Africa has been very active in supporting initiatives of how do we certify people who operate within the securities markets.
FSD Africa has valued our strong partnerships across Africa.
The outcome of this partnership have helped to strengthen SEC Nigeria's institutional capacity to carry out its twin mandates of regulation and development of the Nigerian capital market.
Bringing our own relationships to bear on FSD, understanding each other's needs, addressing and tackling the difficult problems that we wouldn't have been able to do on our own has been really valuable for Parhelion.
They have impacted seriously on these markets in terms of trying to create that technology-driven market for our different jurisdictions.
EABX has received tremendous support from FSD Africa. The support has gone towards key initiatives that include capital raising, sourcing for regulatory approvals, and establishment of key organizational processes.
InfraCredit provides local currency guarantees to mobilize domestic credit for infrastructure. And as we face the challenges of climate change, we need partners that can help to unlock more financing in the value chain.
And also mentoring of MEFMI fellows, especially in the area of local currency bond markets. In 2021, FSD extended a grant to MEFMI of £250,000.
And for our fund, in 2023, we are launching our $100 million Africa Climate Venture Builder Fund with FSDI as our anchor investor.
The need for a robust, resilient and efficient financial sector has never been more apparent.
It's a very timely intervention when Ethiopia is going through major social and economic reform, and at that pivotal time, FSD Ethiopia has begun to work and to contribute towards this major new market system formation. We are very excited about the future of the financial markets in Ethiopia. We're very excited about the digital financial opportunities, the opportunity for financial inclusion in Ethiopia.
Responding to shocks and sustainable financing of Africa's development are paramount. Since 2017, we have invested over £50 million into green initiatives.
We invest very early stage, high risk opportunities, basically with the aim of catalyzing green economic growth in Africa for the benefit of the African people and the planet as a whole.
Yes, so we are very active in bringing new types of products in the market, and within that space we are particularly focused on green finance and the climate finance, where we've been very active developing the green bond market development in the continent. I think we probably have been responsible for probably 8 out of every 10 green bonds that have been issued in the continent.
Another one has been the climate finance training, where we are very keen on training policymakers, regulators, academic, institutional stakeholders, and financial market players in general. And the reason we are training this group of people is so that we can see an acceleration of access to climate finance in Africa.
There's a very positive side to green economic development, which isn't just about the woefulness of what's happening on climate. There is actually a lot of opportunity around green, which, and particularly in markets like Kenya or Ethiopia, which is so rich in renewable energy, for example. But opportunities around job creation and sustainability, which I think are very positive, and we should be grasping that.
FSD Africa understands the value of nature on our continent. nature, can be one of Africa's biggest financial assets, but we need financial innovation to unlock it.
We're eroding the natural world and the natural capital that we have at an unprecedented and unsustainable rate. And for Africa, that's particularly important. Africa is blessed with a huge amount of natural resources, natural capital, that really presents an opportunity for the continent.
Of the nearly 36,000 full-time equivalent jobs we have created by 2020, 40% of them have been filled by females.
Our piece of work on gender bonds is quite inspirational. It's cutting edge, it's transformative, and it's sustainable. That means that we have to leverage sustainable instruments in raising funds for women-owned, women-managed entrepreneurship.
FSD Africa always looks to Africa's future in the program we put together.
One of the best things about working for the digital economy pillar is just how relevant, I guess, it is. It's one of the most essential tools for inclusion, for reaching people at the last mile.
Working with refugees to provide the digital cash transfers or the digital payments. So Equity was engaged by different, I think almost 8 agencies were pushing their cash transfer programs through Equity, and they had a digital platform, so they set up agents in these settlements, and refugees could basically get the services using the card or going to the agents.
Working with Equity BCDC is really exciting because they're really focused on getting finance to the last mile through digital channels, so through USSD, mobile, online apps that they've developed to enable their agents to onboard new clients and to give these people the essential financial tools they need. So I really enjoy working on that project.
The COVID-19 pandemic created a whole new set of challenges. We saw an 87% increase in remittances to help families survive the health emergency. FSD Africa stepped in with programs to save jobs and whole industries.
COVID really affected quite obviously a number of countries, and from a business point of view, our role, one, ensuring that we could still have capital being provided to institutions, to SMEs to continue doing their businesses through some of the funds that we support.
We'd like to look back at 10 years of successes, which are the foundation, and perhaps the lessons that will shape our path to tackling tomorrow's challenges.
So part of the flexibility is all in the sort of strategic vision, and we have great leadership, which has meant that we've been very nimble on the strategy, and that has enabled us to move with the times, adapt to what our donor wants, and actually to some extent lead the way on what the donor needs and expects.
I think it's the purpose of the organization, the excellent colleagues, you're challenged every day, the latitude to think, to challenge, to engage all the way at board level and be heard. That makes a difference.
So I think FSD Africa has great leadership, starting from the CEO, Mark Napier. I think FSD Africa is where it is right now because of his leadership model, which I think is great.
FSD Africa's work is as vital now as it's ever been. You are leading the charge to ensure Africa gets the finance it needs to meet the continent's urgent development and climate challenges.
Happy 10th anniversary FSD Africa. Very proud to be part of the team in FSD Africa, supporting capital market development in the continent.
FSD Africa, making finance work for Africa's future.